So, hi everyone. This is the 8th interim meeting number 9. We're Tuesday, June 8th. And well, we have a short agenda today. Please, if you're attending this meeting, please put your names. I'm going to send the link to the link chat, but please put your name. If you're willing to take some notes, that would be really appreciated. The link of the Etherpad is in the chat room as well. So anyone willing to take some notes? Okay, well, we'll try to keep that short. Okay, so I'd like to go back to a review of all the documents to clearly say where we are now with them. And the idea is to maybe to let Ben know exactly where we are, so he can hopefully put the bottom, and that can go through the RFC editor. So I think this morning we had ISG officially mentioning that all comments for OAuth framework has been addressed. So I mean, this document is ready to go to the RFC queue. Is that correct?
Yes, I think so.
RFC editor. Now I'm wondering, what about the DTLS authorize?
Oh, sorry. I was about to mention that DTLS authorize is ready to go into the next round. We have addressed
No. So what I just said is the OAuth auths. So the framework.
Okay, my feeling was that the only document we were waiting for was the DTLS authorized profile.
So the DTLS.
Anyone in this call who knows whether there are open issues in the framework document?
Let me check. The email this morning with Francesca. Where can I check that? Here.
So the only emails with Francesca on the ACE mailing list this morning were regarding the DTLS profile.
Okay, so maybe I was confused. It's my mistake. So the the DTLS profile is ready to go to the, so the DTLS authorize is ready to go to the RFC editor.
Yes.
Okay. Now, what about the framework? Do we have anyone from the framework on the call? I don't see anyone. OS core profile. Anyone on the call? No. The ACE OAuth params. No one. The ACE OS core profile. No one on the call. Okay. So up to what I know is that the MQTT TLS profile has been updated and still in AD review. That's my
That's correct. Yeah, that's
Correct.
the latest I know as well.
Okay. Now in the working group last call, so we have the draft key group com. So this one is still in working group last call, and I think we're waiting for Garan committed to provide a review in some times.
Yes, correct. And I have news about that. Just in case we have enough time in the meeting, I have also slides. But long story short is that we are discussing updates to the main Grupo score document in core. And they will have an impact on key group com score, and to some extent even GM admin. So Joran and other reviewers, well, a better way to have a stable version of Grupo Score and then again a stable version of Key Group Com. I recommend before starting any actual review.
Okay, so I mean, what I'm hearing is that it's not. Should I remove the working group last call tag?
That's up to you. It can even stay open and continue, but yeah, I'd recommend to wait for the next update before actually starting a review.
Okay, so when do you? I mean, in any case, it doesn't change.
Sure.
I think it might be better to just restart the working group last call.
Yeah, you can invalidate this one if you wish.
So something is happening.
Yeah, we just have to proceed in lockstep. And
Yeah.
I think there's enough time before the cutoff to address most of the points I have in mind will need to be addressed. I'm not sure there's enough time to address every single one of them, but I'll try.
Okay. So I will probably remove that from working group last call, and we will restart the working group last call.
Sounds good. Thanks.
Okay. AIF. So as far as I know, Logan just was writing the Shepherd, and he had one comment. I think it's I mean two should that should become should with capital letters. So not a big deal. So this one is going to be soon sent for AD review.
So there are changes in the GitHub that probably should be shipped as a -03, and I could pick up Logan's comments when I do that. So
okay, yeah, sure.
Do I have these comments? Because I can't find them right now.
That was my question. Okay, so I will let Logan. Send you the comments. I mean, I don't know if he sent you the comments. These are the comments I've seen, but yeah, I mean, just to let you know, there is nothing that prevent the Shepherd to be shipped, and I'm gonna make sure he's gonna send you the comments.
Thank you.
So we will soon be done with that one. CMPv2 over CoAP. Do we have any of the author here? No. Okay. So this one is also, I mean, I reviewed, and it's pretty much baked. So hopefully we could send it as soon as the comments will be addressed. Now I see Francesca in the chat.
Yes,
but I don't see. Oh, you're here. Yeah. But I don't see you as a participant. So.
Oh, you don't? Okay.
No. Okay.
Okay.
So Mike, we had some questions in the beginning about the status of the various drafts. So the questions were about the framework. Do we have any more comments to be addressed regarding that document?
So from my point of view, everything is addressed. and I've answered Olaf and Steffi. Thank you. Sorry the delay about the DTLS profile, and all the others were already. I mean, the OSCO profile is ready as an author, I can say, and the other so the ACE framework and the params were as well ready, as I posted to the mailing list a while ago from my like AD perspective rather than author.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
so it's still waiting on Ben, and I think Ben is aware, but I think it's up to you chairs to check with Ben.
Yeah, that's what I want to. So basically, we have DTLS authorized OS. I mean the framework, the OS core profile, and the OS params. They're ready to go to the RFC editors.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's up to Ben to push the button, and I think it's only waiting on him to see that everything else.
Yeah. I just want to let him know, because I mean it's easier to start that review if you know it's supposed to be ready. Then so that's my my purpose.
Yes.
Okay, so ongoing work. Maybe we can have a PubSub profile. I'm wondering, Signam, do you want to make a short update on it? Do you have a presentation?
I don't have a presentation,
Okay.
but I'll be preparing for the IETF meeting 1, and we'll ask for time for that. But there are changes in GitHub. I did implement the proposed changes from the previous IETF meeting and rewrote the draft for the new architecture. Also presented a solution how to handle multiple topics for MQTT case specifically. So made all the changes that were planned. Probably need to push another version out, but I'm waiting on Francesca's comments on it before, and I know she's busy, so.
Yeah, sorry about that. I will try to do it as soon as possible.
Okay. So yeah, I don't think there is we are not I mean, nothing is urgent. We can wait for the next version for the next IETF or even after. But yeah, I mean, it's still progressing, so that's good. Any other comments on that topic? No. So I suggest we move to COAP IP.
Hi, this is Dan. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So this is going to be a very short presentation. We are just letting you know that we took all the advice gathered from the last IETF meeting and the interim meetings, and we have provided the 0.1 version, and we have changed the URIs and how the resource is managed to conform to the A2S philosophy, as commented by Karsten. We also included the casuistics when a message is lost that we saw in the previous messages. The next slides are just the same as the previous version with the updates. So here we comment that we are just using the URIs with an X value that is representing the current step in the authentication process, as opposed to the one where we have an X and a 1 representing the step. Now it's up to the both entities to decide how to specify the name, as long as we are able to identify the ongoing step in the authentication process. And well, basically we also updated the casuistics and the flow of operation in the other slides with this change. So basically, I think we have provided all the updates to the next version. that were commented in the interim meetings. So that would be just the summary of what we have at this point in the draft. I would just like to comment that for the next version, we were thinking that maybe it's not clear that we can manage also the resource, maybe to delete it from the controller, sending a delete command. And there is also the casuistic when maybe the re-authentication process has to be done because the lifetime of the state is going to expire, and there are a couple of casuistics that may need to be clarified, but I think we can do that in the next version, and I think we are covering almost already everything that we have in store for this draft up to now, at least with all the reviews we had and comments in the internet meeting.
Okay, so you mentioned, I mean, are you over, or do we have to go through the other slides?
No, I'm over. The other slides are just a correction of the previous presentation with the updates. So
okay, right.
I don't think it's worth it to go over every slide.
Okay, right. So I understand that you're not expecting to make a next version now. The version is.
We may, if the group considers that what I commented, that is a clarification on how to manage the state, specifying, putting a little text regarding that the controller can delete the current state, and we can also perform our authentication, and that we need to deal with a little casuistic when the controller maybe is trying to re-authenticate, and the client maybe is sending a trigger message, and this message maybe collide at the same time. But I think that should be very simple for a next version. That is not going to impact too much on what we already have regarding the comments.
And so, just to clarify, you are not updating the EEP state machine.
Actually, yeah, no, we are not touching the EEP state machine at all. Yes.
Okay, so that was my main concern. I'm wondering, has anyone any comment regarding this proposal? Anyone thinks it's not ready for working group last call, or can we start this working group last call? Anyone wants to ask some precision or clarification?
Yeah, maybe I can, Christian Amses, maybe I can do this in voice here as well. It's maybe just a side note, but the slide showed an exchange that said 201 at 201 created with a location path and a payload. I'm not saying we can't do this, but I've kind of gotten mixed messages as to whether this can be done that way, whether those can be used in combination. Can they? And I know this is more of a question to Core, but maybe Carsten, I think you were involved in getting this to that state. Maybe you can answer that.
Well, thank you for your comment. I didn't get the impression that it is not possible, but even with the last conversations with Carsten, this was not raised as an issue, but maybe he can weigh in and comment on that. I don't.
So the question is regarding the code.
Yeah, that both the code, the created code, and the payload are in the same message. There is maybe there is something in the RFC that precludes this from happening, but I'm not aware of that.
Carsten just commented on the chat with a reference where it says it's okay as long, which as I'd read as this is okay as long as this is a representation of that created location, which it perfectly may be.
Actually, no, it's a representation of the action result, which is there is a new location being created, but the action result gives you some additional information about what that means. And that's exactly that fits exactly with what is needed here in this this case.
Thank you, Karsten.
The term action result is a bit weird, but it really means something that is not a representation of the resource that was created. So let me just copy that part over as well. So the payload is either a representation of a resource or the result of the requested action. And the idea is that when you create a new resource with a 201, that you may want to say something about this resource. And that's exactly what the action result can encode.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, so my plan is to send a working group last call this week. I think the core and MU working group should be CC'd. I'm wondering if you see any other working group that should be involved into this review.
From my point of view, I think both are the two that have core interest, pun intended, with this draft, since we are using the co-op and on the other side IP as an IP lower layer. So I don't know if any other working group should be involved, but I am open to suggestions.
Okay, so currently I think we will restrict to those two working groups. Yeah, so I'm encouraging people to review that document within this working group. And oh, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. So for some reason I'm hearing a blank noise, so it's good you don't hear it.
Yeah, apparently you switched your microphone. You have a different audio signature that you had.
Okay. But can you hear it, or?
Yes, it's fine.
So I'm not touching anything.
It's a bit less dry. It's a bit more wet.
Okay. So yeah, so I'm gonna start the working group last call. If you have some friends in those working group, please let them know that a review would be appreciated. And hopefully for the next IETF, this one will be sent to Ben. Ben is gonna be happy.
Thank you.
Okay, so next set of slides, Marco. Oh, it's a short.
Well, the very short version was what I mentioned before. Yeah. This is just if you are interested in already having a preview of what I expect to do as changes in this document because of Drupal score.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah. So yeah, next slide then, please. Yeah, actually, following the previous interim, there has been a submission of version 12 as planned, mostly to confirm to have that new appendix in the document, and was removed from key group common score where it was initially included instead. And then, as I was mentioning, yeah, the co-authors of Drupal score are discussing a number of changes that appeared as important to do in the last 10-15 days or so. And then, of course, that has an impact on the key provisioning happening in this draft here. I just named KG and KGO from now on, just to not repeat the long strings. By the way, I think on the changes to the Grupo score, we are converging and discussing really the details now. And I hope we can definitely fix Grupo score before the cutoff and most of the required updates in the ACE documents too. Not sure if I can cover really every single thing, but we'll see. Next, please. And yeah, if I'm not missing anything, it should be about overall 4 things to be covered in the ACE documents. We are converging to have a specific public key format in the OSCOR groups that you can start thinking of something of, well, more in general of security groups. It doesn't have to be specifically one format forever to be mandated, but there has to be a format to be indicated and different than the just plain cozy key format we are using today. This is also related to discussions that started actually in EDOC a few weeks ago and just inspired this kind of things in Grupo score. But the kind of format of interest here for public keys would be something like a list of CWT claims, which seems to be the most preferred one actually, or certificates and so on. And the way to identify them, meaning identify the exact format to use in a particular security group, would be a code point already registered or to be registered among the COSI header parameters. So on the good side, this doesn't require too many changes structurally. It's still about using the same parameter we have already to indicate the public key format to use in the group, the pub key enc parameter. And fortunately, without predicting any of this, we already have a parameter called peer identifiers that can be used to indicate the ID of a node, like the sender ID for Grupo score, in case the public key format doesn't specify internally such a node identifier, which is exactly what we are going to need in this case. And I remember from a few interim meetings ago that Ben was starting to consider if it was better to actually just have these node identifiers as external from the public key structure. So this is one thing. Next slide, please. Yeah, the other one starts being a bit more specific of Grupo score, but it actually affects the overall well, expressiveness of the API at the KDC that is better to start updating already in KeyGroupCom and can be of interest of other kinds of security groups than exactly OSCOR groups. Basically, as a reminder, Grupo score has 2 modes of operations, and one of them is the pairwise mode where no signatures are used. And so far we have considered, well, the main mode to be the group mode, always supported, and the pairwise mode as a plus. But the changes we are going to do are opening instead for having a group using the pairwise mode only. And that means 2 things, one in this slide and one in the following one. We need to fully decouple the set of information describing how the group works with respect to the group mode or the way it works with respect to the pairwise mode. So now parameters and values they can take are really structured thinking of, for sure the group mode is used, maybe the pairwise mode too. So we need to make them really independent here. And to some extent, this will, of course, affect also the creation and configuration of the group in the specific GMadmin document. Yeah. Next slide, please. And due to the same reason as in the previous slide, that there's another thing that is a bit tricky too. If you consider a security group where no signatures are used at all, like the pairwise mode for Grupo score specifically, we still want to have a proof of possession of the private key of the joining node when the node joins the group, or if as a member later on it uploads a new public key at the KDC. And right now, the proof of possession we have, of course, builds on a signature computed over a deterministic challenge. But in this particular case, we cannot even assume nodes to have support for signatures at all. So we need an alternative, which boils down to a proof of possession built on Diffie-Hellman. We have a sketch already on how this can happen. And basically, during the token post response, where the node already gets additional information from the KDC requested, describing how the group works, a possible additional thing to request and obtain would be a Diffie-Hellman public key of the KDC. They would be used for that kind of proof of possession. So at the end of the day, we use the same principle, the same parameter in the joining request, where to include well, a computed bystring used as proof of possession, but in this case, it is going to be a MAC computed with a key derived from a Diffie-Hellman secret. And this is very much for key group count to be then inherited in possible profiles that actually end up using this kind of groups in this kind of mode, like an Oscar group in pairwise mode. And finally, next slide, we should be the easiest thing and actually so specific to group Oscar that it should be really about key group com Oscar actually. In group Oscar, among the other things, we are discussing a change in the actual signature construction for the messages that are assigned, this time in group mode. This has a number of benefits. And we are still discussing the details of the exact construction to go for, but it seems we are going for having an additional inner MAC that is covered by the set of signing input, but it is not sent on the wire. And to compute this MAC, you rely on an additional group MAC key derived from the group input material. So all good, but we still want to keep a nice feature we have had in group Oscar so far of semi-trusted intermediaries that cannot decrypt messages, but can verify on the fly a signature. And if we go for this kind of construction that, again, has benefits of its own anyway, those intermediaries would need to have also that group MAC key. And the way to obtain that would be getting that from the group manager, like they are already getting the public key of the group members they want to verify the signature. So this would require, and again, specifically for the group manager of group Oscar this time, one more sub-resource for the group intended only for this external verifiers so that they can get the current group MAC key to correctly perform the signature verification on the fly. Next slide, please. Yeah, so it's all about, fortunately, proceeding a bit in lockstep. So really stabilizing group Oscar first. And when that is done, I can switch to the ACE drafts. Certainly, I can prioritize key group com and try to do in parallel as much as I can key group com Oscar. Most can be done at least before the cutoff for sure. And then it will be about updating the group manager implementation, the specific one for group Oscar, of course.
Okay. Well, thanks. I don't see those as huge changes. So
no, they are not so huge. They may look more scary, but there's nothing fundamentally changing in the operations offered by the KDC.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe the most delicate thing is the format of the first one. The one about the format of public key, but
that's I mean, you know where the public key is, so
yeah.
Yeah. I perceive that as a changing the JSON object. So. Okay, so anyone has questions? Anyone wants to raise a comment? Who is contributing to that a document review in OS Core, in Core?
I hope this week or next week we can start working on updating that document. And even before waiting for a resubmission of that, as soon as it is stable enough, I can start writing on the ACE documents too.
Okay. So basically, I mean, you're driving this work, so we're waiting for you.
Thank you.
So no, I mean, no need to press the things. I mean, I have the impression it's better everything gets stabilized in core, and then it's just consequences are reported to ACE. And
yeah, it might just be not every single thing here is covered before the cutoff.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't mind having. I mean, that's me personally. Do whatever is better for you to make that work progress. And I mean, it's not a big deal if we don't have any update in ACE before the cutoff.
Yeah, at least some update you should have.
Okay.
Pretty sure of that.
Okay, good. So I think for this time we will finish on time, even in advance.
Can I before we finish?
Sure.
I went back and checked on the framework document, and I actually have to correct myself. So we discussed this during last interim as well, that I had just removed my discuss and posted. So I added this to the minutes, or to the notes already, all the pointers. But I had written a mail to the mailing list and to the authors. And if you remember the discussion last month about combining profiles, and there were a couple more like non-blocking comments. So we have already talked about those, but Ludwig wasn't here. And I think the result was we're waiting on Ludwig and the authors to reply. And I just checked again and there was no reply yet. So so that's not RFC editor ready yet, but almost. And all of these are minor non-blocking comments. So
Yeah. No. But so I probably need to ping Ludwig. I had in mind he had responded. So thank you for checking.
Yeah, me too for some reason. But, yeah, just checked and.
Yeah, I will ping him and let him know. Okay, good. So any other comments? I see the queue. I'm just wondering if we have to meet during the next IETF meeting. We'll probably have some things to say on the group com, as well as MQTT. I mean the PubSub probably. Yeah, if you think a meeting is not necessary, please let me know. So we can give a free spot for other meetings, but currently we are planning to have a meeting there. Any other comments?
Yeah, we just confirmed that we will update what we just talked about a next version before the last call with the deletion and reauthentication for CoAPIP. As soon as we have it, we will let you know for continuing with the process.
Okay, good. I hope we will not hear from you during the next IETF, and that the working group last call will be closed and resolved by then. But okay. Anyone has any comments?
I was just mentioning, since PubSub was mentioned as a potential topic for the next IETF, it's really up to you. I can shift it to a next interim. Anyway, I would like to get comments from Francesca first before pushing a next version. And for the MQTT TLS profile, it's in the AD review, and I don't have much to add anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's for sure. I think it's better to keep next IETF as a deadline, because that's I see a lot of updates just before the interim meetings and any meetings. So I think that's the way we work.
And also we get to see Ben.
Yeah,
he's gonna participate in the meeting, so we can ask him questions as well.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, I'm not. Even though I'm just gonna check. I just know that we maybe don't need a 2-hour slot. So I will check that. But I think it's good that we regularly meet. That's the way we work. I think that's the way we should work with almost every meeting, every working group, especially when we're remote. So I don't have the intention to change that. Okay, right. So if we have nothing more to say, I wish you a good day wherever you are. And I think everyone is in Europe. So a nice evening.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. You too.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.